She thought it was just another exhausting day at the diner, until 3 men turned her workplace into a nightmare. But what happened next would prove that sometimes heroes show up when you least expect them. Story starts. The morning light streamed through the tall glass windows of Harper's Diner, painting the old checkered floor in soft golden stripes. It was the kind of place that seemed untouched by time. Red vinyl booths, the smell of fresh coffee, and a dusty jukebox in the corner that hadn't played a tune in years. But that morning the usual calm shattered. The door slammed open and 3 rough-looking men barged in, loud and overbearing. Their energy sucked the air out of the room, and suddenly conversations died, and spoons froze mid-stir. At the heart of it all was Clara, a young waitress barely in her 20s. With her apron tied tight and hair pulled back, she worked endless double shifts just to keep her sick mother's medicine paid and the rent covered. She was used to tired feet, rude customers, and long nights, but nothing prepared her for the cruelty of those men. They singled her out, mocked her, snatched her tray, laughed when she stumbled trying to balance hot plates and coffee. Their voices carried, turning her into the punchline of their twisted game. Around her, the diner sat frozen. No one dared to step in. Clara's hands trembled as she held onto her notepad like it was her lifeline. Her eyes burned with tears she refused to let fall. The weight of exhaustion, bills, and loneliness pressed down harder than ever. At that moment she felt completely invisible, except to those who wanted to break her. And just when she thought she couldn't take another second, the diner's front door chimed. A group of bikers stepped inside. Their leather jackets bore the emblem of skulls and wings, their boots heavy against the floor. The air shifted instantly. Forks hovered mid-air. Conversations died. Even the thugs so loud moments ago fell eerily quiet. At the front was Marcus, tall and broad, streaks of gray in his beard, eyes sharp but calm. He didn't need to shout to command respect. His very presence did that. Clara stood at the counter, shoulders slumped, cheeks red from shame. Marcus noticed the tears she was fighting back. Then his gaze shifted to the men at the booth, the ones suddenly hiding behind their menus. Without a word, Marcus and his crew took a booth in the back. Their quiet strength filled the room, and for the first time that morning, Clara could breathe. But the thugs weren't done. One of them sneered, muttering something vile as Clara passed. He accidentally spilled his drink, forcing her to kneel down and clean up the mess. Her humiliation felt complete, until a shadow loomed over the table. Marcus. His hand pressed firmly onto the thug's shoulder. His voice was low, steady, and chilling. "She's working hard. You don't treat people like that in here." The diner went silent. No one moved. No one breathed. The thug tried to laugh it off, but Marcus didn't budge. Behind him, the rest of the bikers had risen to their feet, their eyes cold and unreadable. The thugs quickly folded, tossing cash onto the table before scrambling out the door. As it slammed shut, the diner let out a collective exhale. Clara stood frozen, rag in hand, her body trembling. Marcus glanced at her, gave a small nod, and sat back down. He didn't want thanks, he didn't need recognition. But for Clara, the world suddenly felt less cruel. The bikers stayed for breakfast, laughing and joking among themselves, but never once making Clara uncomfortable. When they finally left, Marcus slid a thick tip across the counter, more than Clara would earn in 2 entire shifts. She tried to refuse, shaking her head. But Marcus only looked at her with a quiet kindness and said, "Take care of your mom." Then he walked out, the rest following behind. Clara stood there long after they were gone, clutching the folded bills, her chest swelling with relief and gratitude. For the first time in a long time, she felt seen, not as a struggling waitress, but as a person who mattered. Word spread through town, not as a tale of violence, but as a story of respect. Of unlikely protectors who showed that real strength lies in standing up for others. And for Clara, that day wasn't just about surviving a shift. It was about believing again that no matter how dark the world can get, there will always be people willing to stand up for what's right. Closing call to action. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to HQ Infinite Stories. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories of kindness, courage, and hope. Tell us in the comments, if you had been there, would you have stepped in for Clara? Because sometimes the smallest act of courage can change someone's world forever.